All right, hi Faith Formation families, it's Miss Abdallah, and I'm here to give you the rundown of the week of November 12th through the 19th. I'm going to talk about the 20th as well, just as a heads up. But let's start with the 13th. That's this Saturday. In grades 10 through 12, we have a presentation about Indigenous heritage and Catholic culture and learning from the past and how to move forward with peaceful relationships based on what we're going to learn from not only history but through looking at the catechism as well as scripture. Okay, so that goes from 5:30 to 7:30, so it's right after the 4:30 Mass. And then we will be having that at St. Thomas More. And at that meeting, we'll also be giving out your study Bible, catechism, Bible covers, and that'll be your textbooks for not only the rest of the year, but those are yours to keep. So you can begin your study journey with us as we talk about some of these important topics, and also discussing future service projects or activities that we can do to expand on what we've learned. Okay. So that's the 13th. November 14th, over at Our Lady Queen of Peace, we have grades 6 and 7, and that goes from 6:30 to 8:30. Monday the 15th, we have our K through 5 Monday cohort in-person learning, also at Queen of Peace. That goes from 6 to 7:15. Tuesday, we have the Tuesday in-person cohort and remote learners, and that also is from 6 to 7:15. All the Zoom credentials are below, and I don't believe they're changing at all this week, so we will go from there. Looking ahead to the 20th. The 20th is our second First Reconciliation camp. Okay, we already had Camp 1 on the 6th. Our second one is on the 20th. So the part 2 is going to be at St. Thomas More, okay, on the morning of the 20th from 9 to 12, just like we had at Queen of Peace, but we're having it over at St. Thomas More, and we will again have the bag lunch for the kids to go. That will also include their rehearsal, and then we will also be giving parents, they'll have the books to go home with. And they can practice before our actual first confession, which will be December 4th, okay? So if you were registered for Camp 1 and you did not attend because you were looking for the remote learning or you were looking to do home study, but you've already previously registered for it, I have sent out a separate email that has all of the information of what you need to do to make up that work from the books that your registration purchased and etc. Okay, this is not for people that did not register at all yet. Okay, so this is a very important point because it's also going to pertain to my confirmation students as well. Okay, you have to register for these programs ahead of time. We can't accommodate people that never registered. So we're trying to work with people that missed everything or, somehow didn't understand or whatever. Those people will deal directly with Father Hart and Margaret Ostromecki. So if that pertains to you, if you didn't understand, didn't know that you had to register, didn't know that you needed a book or whatever, the case may be, that you came after the fact and are trying to make up lost time, you're going to be working directly with them, okay? Because I just don't have enough time and staff and everything else to redo the whole Camp 1 and 2 for people, okay? So we're going to do a separate home study program for those that apply for that, all right? Looking ahead, though, here's the thing with, I put all this information out to Catholic schools in July. They were supposed to be sent out in emails home, which I've been hearing from a lot of people that it was. Things get missed, and I understand that. But what we need to understand, and this, like I said, this definitely is going to apply for the confirmation students, because there's quite a few confirmation students in Catholic schools that I've heard nothing from as well. You have to register for these programs ahead of time because it affects our spacing. It affects how many teachers that we need to try to get, presenters. I mean, we need to know the numbers. And then on top of that, the bishop's office needs to know the numbers. They needed to know back in September how many we had. And I have even yet to be able to give them an answer because I'm still trying to get people to come in. I've only got a handful of kids from the Catholic schools that have applied for confirmation, and the bottom line is last year I got deluged with like 20 some odd people at the last minute. So we really need that not to happen again this year. I really need people to register early. So I'm going to tell people that we need to be registered for confirmation by the 31st of December because our first retreat is in January and I have to know numbers before I can plan that. Okay, so if you know somebody that's in Catholic school that has not yet registered and didn't know they had to register, please send them our way so that we can make sure that they have it. I'm going to have the registration forms again. I think I'm going to start posting that, but they are on the web page, so you can send them on the web page for Queen of Peace and St. Thomas More. Tell them they need to register right away so that we can count them, we can have their books ready, we can do everything we need to know, and we can submit that to the diocese so that they will be ready for us, because we have to figure out our numbers for the bishop to be able to schedule confirmations. Okay, so everything has a ripple effect when we don't do it in a timely fashion. So that's why I'm really pushing, please get those registrations in. If you don't have a registration, and it's also hard for us to communicate with you, like we only send certain things to people that are registered to receive them. Most of the information, if not all, is in the newsletter, but if you're not registered, then your email's not on the newsletter, so you're not going to be getting it, and you're probably not even going to know you have to look for it, and that's a problem because this is our primary source of communication. So I cannot emphasize enough, have to be registered. I can't read the minds of people out in the Diocese of Rochester that just haven't decided that they're going to be with us yet. So we really need that to happen. Okay, so that's my blurb about that, because I think it's caused a lot of headaches for people, and you just have to understand this is where we're at. We just don't have enough staff. As most of you know, I'm a one-woman show this year for 4 parishes, which is not at all how it should be, and we are well aware of that, and we've been trying to get people to apply. Nobody's applying for the job, nobody is able to help. So when we're stuck like that, we're just trying to do the best we can, but that's even more important that we know exactly what numbers we're dealing with and how big of a space we need, all of that good stuff. So not to keep beating a dead horse with this, but just bear with us, because this is really kind of an unprecedented amount of work for what we've got going on, but we're trying to do the best we can. Okay, but registering in a timely fashion will help us a lot, so please spread the word. Help me out here, and then we'll go from there. All right, and then as you'll see below, there's all kinds of new community service projects for the kids, especially our confirmation students. You will be getting all your paperwork and packets on the 20th, so, the 21st, that Sunday, the 21st. You will get all of those, and if you aren't there to receive that, because I know some people told me they're going to be gone for Thanksgiving week, if you're not there for it, it will be in an electronic form on the newsletter. So make sure you look under grade year 1 or year 2 to find out what paperwork you need and what you need to submit and when it's due. Okay, but we'll talk more about that when we all meet on the 21st. Okay. All right. So I think one last thing about the nativity play. So I did a survey last time to see who was ready or felt confident to do the in-person nativity play. I only had 8 people respond to the survey. 5 that said they had no problem with it as long as the kids wore masks. And I think we had 1 undecided and 1, not sure, and 1 that wasn't going to be in town. That's fine. Thank you for taking the time to do that survey. So based on that, we're going to go ahead and do a sign up for an in-person nativity play. Now you'll see that I don't have the site specific, but we will be doing it on Christmas Eve. We will be doing it at a family mass at either Queen of Peace or St. Thomas More, because those are the two parishes that have traditionally done it. And what we're going to do is see how many sign up. And based on who signs up, if more of you typically go to Queen of Peace, we'll have it at Queen of Peace. If more of you sign up and go to St. Thomas More, then we'll have it at St. Thomas More. This is open to everyone, even if you're from Lourdes and St. Anne's. It's just that they opted not to do it this year because they have not traditionally done it, and just thought maybe until we get vaccines figured out, they didn't want to start anything new this year, which is totally understandable. So if we have an overwhelming response of people that want to do it, then we might be able to do 2. But I'm going to start with, let's figure out 1. And then if we still have people that want to do a second one, then we will. So that sign up is below. I know that I spelled Caesar Augustus wrong. Forgive my edit typo, but in order to correct it, I would have had to redo the whole survey. So just forgive me for that one. I just let it go. So Caesar Augustus is spelled a little funky, but that's okay. If a spot is full and you're interested in being like on a waiting list for anything, if for some reason that happens, send me a direct email, and in the tagline write Nativity Play, in the subject line, and then I'll scan for that as best I can to stay on top of that. So we'll see how many we can get. I'd like to have our rehearsals on the 12th of December and the 19th of December. So we'll do a run through with parts, and then we'll have a dress rehearsal, and then the 24th, either at the 3:30 or the 4:30 mass. We'll figure that out as we go. Okay, so signups are below. Let me know what your thoughts are, and then I will continue to directly contact those of you that signed up for that, to let you know what's going on. Okay. Phew, a lot of information, I know. I did have people say to me, a couple of comments this week from different directions that said, well, there's just too much information in the newsletter. You should just send us, separate emails for what pertains only to us. In an ideal world, that would be great. There's 200 people signed up in K through 12. I do not have the time or ability to connect with, to send separate emails to 200 people. It's just not going to happen. The newsletter is the primary form of communication that covers everybody, and that is all I can manage right now with what I've got going on. It's a lot of, there just is no way. Okay. And I apologize for that. I know people say, well, it's too much to go through. I totally understand that. But you'd have to understand that me trying to write 200 emails to people to only give them what pertains to them would also not be a good use of time. So everything's in one spot for people to go get what they need to get when they need to get it. And that's just the best we can do for now. If someday I get a secretary or an assistant faith formation person, then maybe that could happen and we could do better groupings that way. But for right now, it's just not something we can do. We really, these things are really tough, and I feel for you, and I agree with all of you that it should be different, it should be better, it should be more efficient. The reality is it's not. And so it's a great opportunity for us to say, okay, this is not working, and we need to figure out what will work coming up. And I am also, in the midst of all of this, feverishly trying to figure out what we're going to do next year. We're hoping that with now vaccines being eligible for younger students, that more people will be going to Mass and will be able to volunteer and will be willing to help. But there are no guarantees. I mean, we would love to see that happen, but I have to plan for the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. So it really does make a huge difference when people choose, for whatever reason, not to be involved because of whatever. And there's legitimate fears with the pandemic, and I understand that fully. But that does mean that we're limited on volunteerism, on, all sorts of levels. So we're muddling through. I know it's frustrating. I share in your frustration, and you do deserve better than that. And I am frustrated that I can't give that to you at the present moment, but we'll just have to keep trying to problem solve together. And I am assuring you I'm giving you 100,000% of what I can give you at the moment. But yeah, I wish it was better too. So let's keep praying on it. Let's keep thinking on it. And, I'm open to your suggestions and your comments. But the reality is there's not a lot I can do about it at the present moment. So we'll just keep going. We'll do what we can do. All right, so bear with me. Patience is a virtue, and virtue is a grace. Put them all together, and you have a happy face. This is what some of the nuns used to say to me when I was younger, so we'll see if that's true. Have a great week, everyone. Take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.